Hello, my name is Keshwani. That's K-E-S-H-W-A-N-I, Keshwani. We are here because we want to improve our English. We want to improve our vocabulary. The way we do that is by learning few new words every day. Today is our day number 26. The very first word that we're going to learn today is contiguous. Let me put down the pronunciation. It's an adjective. What does contiguous mean? Well, it means two things that are touching each other. And at the very end of the whole thing, I'll give you the reason as to why I'm covering this word. It also means something that shares an edge, or a wall, or a boundary. So there are two objects that are touching each other. They are said to be contiguous. They have some boundary in common, they have some wall in common, they have some edge in common. You can speak of two figures being contiguous. For example, if I were to draw this triangle and that triangle, these two triangles are not contiguous, but these two triangles are, because they share a boundary, they share a wall. The word is contiguous. As you can see, these two triangles are adjacent to each other. They are adjoining each other. They are abutting each other. It just means next to each other, touching each other. Now the reason why I wanted to cover this word is because sometimes people speak of, in the US, sometimes people speak of the 48 people speak of, in the US, speak of 48 contiguous states. These are called contiguous states because they touch each other. And the person who does not understand, the people who do not understand this word, as a matter of fact, I've had the occasion, I've had the pleasure where somebody was actually polite enough to correct me by telling me that the word is not pronounced as contiguous, it is pronounced as continuous. I wasn't using the word continuous. The word is contiguous, which is why I'm covering it here. Sometimes some people who are not familiar with this word, when they hear the word contiguous, they think that the word that is being said is continuous. It's not continuous, it is contiguous. One speaks of the 48 contiguous states, the 48 states that touch each other. And of course there are two that are not contiguous. One of course is Alaska, which is contiguous to Canada, but not to the mainland US, and of course the other one is Hawaii. One does not wish to turn this into a geography lesson, but that is the situation. It's a good word to know, contiguous. That's it. It's out of my system. I feel much better. Let's move on to the next word. Again, one more time, very quickly. The synonyms for contiguous would be adjacent, adjoining, or abutting. It's a good word to know, as I said already. But then again, you can't go by what I have to say, because to me, almost all words are good words to know. Notice how I said almost all words. I needed to qualify my statement by inserting the word almost. I could not give you an unequivocal, that is not a good word. I shouldn't be writing these things down because I do not know how to spell the bloody thing. The word is equivocal. This happens almost every time. These words come out of nowhere and I do not know how to spell them. And if I don't write it down, I will forget it, and then I want to cover these words in the future. Equivocal is the word. E-Q-U-I V-O-C-A-A. I could not simply say you can't go by me, because to me all words are interesting. I said almost all words are interesting. I had to qualify it. I could not give you an unequivocal statement, because of course there are some words which are off limit for us here. Do you understand? But anyway, these two words are good words. We're going to cover them in the future. Qualify has two meanings. One meaning of the word qualify, as you already know, which is the first meaning that almost everybody knows, which is to qualify for a job. The meaning of the word qualify, I'm going to very quickly tell you. In the colloquial terms, if you like, in informal terms, if you like, to qualify something means to attach strings, to put conditions on it. To attach strings. You must have heard of the expression "no strings attached." No strings attached means there are no conditions, there are no limitations, there are no constraints, there are no ifs, there are no buts. If you give me an unconditional answer, if I ask you something and you tell me yes or no, unconditional yes, that is called an unqualified yes. I ask my kid, is the homework done? And he goes, yes, it's done, but as soon as I hear the but, I would say, well, I'm looking for an unqualified yes or a no. Give me an unqualified, unconditional yes or a no. Don't equivocate. If you're equivocating, you are putting conditions on it. You are attaching strings to it, if you will. Anyway, as I said, it wasn't my intention to cover these two words. They just came out of nowhere. Let's go back to the next word. Let's go to the next word that I want to cover today, which is, as I said, we will any word that just crops up in my mind as I'm speaking. You know the routine. We put them on the margin. I write them down, and we'll cover them in the future. The word is incongruous. The next word is incongruous. Again, incongruous. It's important that you realize that here is the G word, cong, and then there's another G sound, gru, incongruous, which simply means not belonging with each other, not belonging together, not consistent, not corresponding, not consistent, not corresponding, not belonging with each other. And this word cropped up in our discussion on day 23. On day 23 we learned the word oxymoron. And if you want to learn this word properly, that's why this number is 23. Just type in this tag, Keshwani Prep -vocab -day 23. Just type in the tag and the video will pop right up, and you can watch this entire thing in its entirety, in all the detail. Of course, you know what oxymoron means, hopefully by now, because we are at day number 26, and if you're watching day 26, hopefully you've watched the other 25 videos, and that is the idea. Oxymoron is where you use two words which are inconsistent, which contradict each other, which do not belong with each other, which do not correspond with each other, and that's where the word incongruous cropped up, because the more erudite definition, here's a good word, more academic definition of the word would be two incongruous words being used together. So there is the word incongruous, two inconsistent words, two words that do not belong to each other. If you use them together, what you end up with is an oxymoron. That's it. The noun for incongruous would be Notice there is only one sound of G in this thing. Incongruity. Incongruous. Incongruity. Which simply means instead of being incongruous. One can talk about incongruous comment. One can talk about incongruous statement, where you say two things and they do not substantiate each other. They seem to contradict each other. And you will say, well, you see statements, your two statements seem to be incongruous. What you told me yesterday and what you told me today, they do not seem to go together. They contradict each other. They are inconsistent. There seems to be a disagreement. They do not seem to be correspond with each other. The word is incongruous. That's it. Let's move on to the next word, which has nothing to do with these two words, but as a matter of fact, the first word also had nothing to do with this word. So let's move on to the next word. The next word that we want to learn is pragmatic. Pragmatic. What does it mean to be pragmatic? Pragmatic simply means to be practical, to be realist, or to be realistic, or realist if you like, to be functional. So if you're being pragmatic, then you're being realist, you're being functional. And for example, there are two kinds of people who go out shopping for a car. There are some people who are concerned with the, here's the word that comes to our mind, with the, if you're pragmatic, you're not concerned with, with the aesthetics of the thing. The word aesthetics means having to do with beauty. There are two kinds of people who go looking for when they shop for a car. There is one kind who are concerned with the aesthetic of the object. They are interested in a car of a particular color. It has to have the interior has to be this color. It has to have this gizmo, and it has to have this gadget, and it has to have all sorts of bells and whistles. And there are other kind of people who, when they look for a car, they have a very pragmatic approach. They have a very practical approach. They have a very realistic approach. When the salesperson asks them what color car they want, they say, I don't care what color car, what color the damn thing is, as long as it has a good engine, as long as it's a reliable engine, as long as it gives me good mileage, as long as the price is right, I will buy it. I do not care about other things. I am not concerned about the aesthetics of it. That person is said to be pragmatic, because they're concerned about practical things like gas mileage, the price of the car, the insurance it will cost, and the insurance that they will pay to insure the car, and of course the longevity of the engine. And there are other people who are concerned with how many horsepower it has and how fast it can go from 0 to 60. They're not concerned about how much they will end up paying for the insurance. They're not concerned about how good the engine is, as long as it can go fast, even if it lasts. Anyway, you get the idea. So the word is pragmatic, as opposed to impractical. So, and it means to be practical, to be realist, to be realistic, to be functional, to be not concerned with the aesthetics of the thing, aesthetic of the thing. Let's learn a word which will be a good antonym of pragmatic. I'm going to put it here. Oh, I better take these words down, even though they are on the video, and I can do that later. But I prefer to get it out of the way right now. qualify, equivocate, we did already Oxymoron. Oh, erudite, I never did explain. Erudite simply means having to do with learning, having to do with academic, it's more of an academic thing. We'll cover this part properly, as I said, which is exactly why I'm doing these videos, because I want to learn these words properly myself. So when the time comes, we'll learn to it. It just means more academic, more scholarly definition. If you're looking for a more academic, more scholarly definition of oxymoron, you would say two incongruous words that are used together, which is where the word incongruous cropped up before. Let's learn the antonym of pragmatic. And because of my paranoia, I'm going to actually look up the spelling of the word antonym. You know what antonym means? Antonym means opposite. But I have so much confidence in my ability to muck things up that I always check to see if I spelled it correctly. It's probably not spelled right. It's not spelled correctly. Antonym. Always checking my spelling. It is not. What could I possibly done wrong? Oh jeez. Yes, I mixed up the Y and the O, didn't I? There we go. Antonym, which means two words that are opposite in meaning to each other, as opposed to synonyms. So let's learn an antonym of the word pragmatic. Pragmatic means to be practical. Therefore, antonym must mean something that is impractical, something that is not realist, something that is idealistic. And the word that I'm thinking of, the word that we want to learn is, let's put it in a different pen so it's easier to see. And also because we have the flair for the dramatic, so why not use a different color? The word is bloody hell. Why is it? I don't know about you guys, but I smell a conspiracy. The word is Quixotic. Which means idealistic. Impractical. Romantic. Now the word romantic here is not being used in the primary sense of the word romantic as it is used as in romantic novel, but the word romantic itself literally means the word romantic literally means to be impractical, to be idealistic, to be what's the other good word that we can say? Fanciful, there you go. To be fanciful. To be unrealistic, impractical. If you're fanciful, that means you have this your imagination, and you're not being practical. You're not being realistic. You're not being I was going to say pragmatic, but you get the idea. It's not functional. Quixotic is the word. The word comes from, for those of you who are interested, a little bit of an etymology of the word. The word Quixotic actually comes from a hero of a novel Don Quixote, this is a U, which is the novel by Spanish novelist. I don't know why I'm going into so much details, but anyway, the Spanish novelist Cervantes, who wrote a novel Don Quixote, this hero of his novel Don Quixote was an idealist. He was a romantic. He was fanciful, and he imagined himself to be a knight. He thought he was a knight, and therefore he must go out and fight the evil. He must go out and protect the weak against the strong. And in his fanciful imagination, he looked at these windmills, and he thought that he was looking at the giant evils, and he went around fighting the giant evils, the windmills. The guy was romantic, he was fanciful, he was idealistic, he was not practical. And the word from Don Quixote, the word that we have driven, the word that is derived from the name Don Quixote, is Quixotic, which is the antonym of pragmatic. If you're being pragmatic, you're being realist. If you're being Quixotic, you're being unrealist. You're being idealistic. That is all I have for today. That is all I have for today. I hope you found it useful. I hope you found it helpful. Learn few new words every day, and that is how you're going to improve your vocabulary. That is how you're going to expand your vocabulary. Sitting there and trying to memorize 50 words in a day does not work. 3, 4, 5 words a day over a long period of time is how one improves vocabulary. It's an ongoing process. Even when you think that you know some word, perhaps you have not mastered it as well as you would like to. For example, I just had a word here, erudite. It's the word that I have not quite mastered it apparently, because I was having difficulty articulating it. If you cannot articulate the meaning, you have not mastered it. Many times you ask somebody what does it mean, and they'll tell you, well, I know what it means, but I really can't explain it. Well, that's a very polite way of saying I really don't know it as well as I should, because if I did, I would be able to articulate it. And since I'm not able to articulate it, I haven't mastered it myself, and therefore I cannot explain to you. You want to learn the word properly, thoroughly. Anyway, enough of the pep talk. If you wish to get hold of me for personal private tutoring, I do tutoring, personal tutoring, private tutoring, face-to-face tutoring. I also tutor over the internet via Skype and over the telephone for any of these tests, GRE, GMAT, SAT or TOEFL. Go to any of these website addresses and you can send me an email, and I will help you in whatever way that I can. Or you can simply go to keshwaniprep.com and send me an email from there. Alright? Thanks.